Season 6 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer has what seems like a million things happening. All of them ambitious, and many of them important, and some of them admittedly a little heavy-handed. But it still remains the season I find myself thinking about and going back to the most. Overall, I think it might be the one that feels unequivocally Buffy to me. Not necessarily that it demonstrates everything Buffy has to offer, but in that the piece of my brain that has been overtaken by thoughts about the universe which Season 6 belongs to, it's largely recognizable as feelings that Season 6 itself gives me. And Season 6 has some of my least favorite things in the show in terms of choices I wish the writers hadn't made, but still, it feels so close to me and welcoming, despite the pit that grows in my stomach every time I watch. So I thought I'd do a short exploration of why that might be. In Season 6, the good characters I love and who I look up to suddenly seem distant and warped and different. It's jarring. And I don't think I dislike any characters in the show as much as I dislike the core four in Season 6. And they're some of my favorite characters in the entire Buffyverse. They're supposed to be my heroes, but suddenly Willow is selfish, and Buffy is violent, and Giles is absent, and Xander is thoughtless. They do so many bad things that make me want to dislike them, hate them even, at some points. But to steal a quote from a different show that has changed my worldview in much the same way Buffy has, it doesn't matter if people are good or bad. It matters if they are better today than they were yesterday. And that's what Season 6 taught and continues to teach me. By the end of the season, Buffy isn't healed. Willow isn't recovered. Giles isn't back, and Xander isn't forgiven. But they're still them. And by the season finale, they're better than they were at the start of the season. And that matters. Willow might be an addict, willing to destroy herself to prove her worth, but she's still the girl willing to give up any type of future to stay in a small town and fight the good fight with her friends. Xander might be a scared little boy, using humor as an ill-suited defense mechanism when he isn't lashing out, but he's also the guy willing to bear the quiet to save his friends. Buffy might be violently self-destructive, apathetic to a world that is apathetic back, but she's still the 16-year-old that died to save the world. And Giles might be distant, willing to leave behind a family that clearly needed him to stay, but he's also still the man that gave up his entire life as he knew it for love. Our Scoobies are not simple people. And genuinely, thank God for that. Because if they're just the heroes, if Buffy's a martyr, Willow's an uber witch, Giles is a librarian with a dark past, and Xander is a brave carpenter, all just fighting demons and gods and working through relationships, that would be cool, I guess. But I'm much more interested in heroes that I can touch. Ones that mess up in ways that I will cringe at and want to look away from, but still be able to turn back and say, I might do that too in the same situation. Season 6 sucks to watch, but it's also a tight and warm hug. Maybe it is one that lasts a little too long, or cracks a rib, or makes you a little uncomfortable, but in Season 6, I found for the first time, as a kid terrified of a world that I was glancing at through my own growing depression, safety and recognition. And every time I've rewatched, it has offered that very same safety. Because my heroes, the ones I had seen on this journey for years with magic and vampires and gods and demons, my heroes were faulty too. And they were as terrible as I felt I was, but they were still okay. And if Buffy could continue to love a world that took away choice, if Willow could love a world that took away love, if Xander could love a world where he felt useless against saving his friends, then I could, and I can, love a world where I have felt unbearably alone. Because with the terrible, excruciating, and devastating, and warmly familiar hell that is Season 6, suddenly the alone wasn't so unbearable. In terms of emotional connection, Season 6 reels me in with its kind darkness, and then it continues by being well written. Each issues that the Scoobies face that deters their ability to remain good and healthy has been previously set up within the story. The things I hate about the characters are things that still feel like them, as warped and lost as they get. And I don't think there's a single episode in the season that doesn't play into the thematic and character ideas which the season is exploring. It has its weaknesses, as all things do, but as a season, it feels so solid and together, even when the characters aren't. And within all the breaking up, and death, and hurt that it has, it gives me hope. Because sure, Buffy has its darkness, but so does life. And I don't think it's sadism that so many jokingly claim that keeps us watching the show, and specifically this season. I think it's the warmth that comes through the hurt. It's Dawn and Buffy crawling out of a grave hand in hand. It's Tara coming back to forgive Willow through all her faults. It's Anya comforting Giles in what might be his final moments. And it's Xander finding a way to be useful once he's washed his friend's blood off his hands. Season 6 does hurt, and it has trauma. But so do we. So do our lives. And our lives, I know, are worth it. So I think Season 6 is too.